In today's lecture, I will show you how to use Entity Framework to get a query from SQL Server and save data into SQL or SQL Server. First one, I must remind you that the data source. Since your project is evaluated by another student, so you must use same data source here. It must be localhost plus SQL Express. Other name in will make your project a fail to evaluate by another student. For example, some students use data source a DOS and only square is a strong. Or another student, they can have a name. For example, my name in my computer is computer name is BC, then slash SQL Express. It's also wrong to they not available to another machine, so you must use localhost /SQL Express. If you use different data source, there are other students may access your log score in not yet for result form. So please look at this carefully before submit your project. Okay, today I will start from the DB first, a database first. Database first approach that I demonstrated with you last week. I demonstrated with you last week. So from it, as you can see in model, we have the ADMX entity data model here is task management DB, in which we have class, for example, context designer entities. Let's see. In this subject, we have two classes. One is a user, another is task force, and task management DB contact. So please don't confuse this name with task. That is from Windows library is for parallel or multi-threading. Here our class is task work. It's same as our class that we use in the code first approach. It has some another methods and also a collection user. So we come back into the view, and here I start from user. Here's controllers. So first of all, in user we have interface like this. Here I change this to birthday in more clearly. When as user, previous work we add into the data grid, and now we will add it into database and show the result on data grid view. So let's first one we Also keep it minor error. Okay, let's come back into view. We will add this user into the database, so we create one controller, add new item, a class, and this class is user controller. The handle for class subject user is must inside controllers user controller. Here for you another outside we add a public. Okay, let's add it to the static method. Is a public static a bool means that we add success or not as user parameter is one class a user okay. First we need change it to event management is okay, no problem. Add user as previous work we contact using where contact equal new db. Let's see is what's name is a task management db. Task management, let's see is name, guys, contact, where's contact, new task management entity. Yes, we create a new context is a task management is B and add is a new user context user as user and sales. Since the parallel is the cost granted is will return true, it means that we are successful. If have any errors, we will return false. So the error is come here. So we add the child. Since we work with the database, it has a lot of problems. We don't know what exactly. So in this case, we can use try catch to catch the error. In this case, we return false. If we are successful, we return true. Or not case, is return false. Okay, let's see. In the interface user of user view user, when click add user we check is the we add clear and now create a new user and add it into database. If user controller add user equal true equal font. It means that we can add user and we display a message box also. Error in adding a new user. Message box reform button, and let's see is caption, right? Error and message box button, okay, and message box icon error. Okay, and another is, in this case we skip this. Okay, let's review. Okay, check error. If no errors, so SSS and run. Let's check on the database connect. First one, we must know what's the database name we use here in app config connection string. Let's check on initial catalog is a DB task management. So let's see database. In this function user, here loss of the breakpoint. DB task management, here is the database we use. So let's I add one username. My username full name department phone and email. Add error in adding new user. Let's we check it. What's problem? Database table. We add breakpoint into user here. add again. F 11 contact. Okay, user, save. See what's the error. Let us check database. Entity infra DB application. Okay, I stop it and check the error again. Since we want to know what error we remove, is a try catch and run again. Let's see, in the table is a user. The problem here is a repeat username. Since I add username here, yes, same username. Since we set username is a primary key, so it has error. So let's check again by delete this. Edit top to real. Yeah, I delete it. Yes. Okay. I ask you my username again. Username and email at user 11 10 cell chat. Okay, it's work. Let's we check in the database is SQL and check. As you can see, I ask one username here. Is my birthday, phone name, and email. So it's working. Let's we add try catch again. and we need a function to check user access or not. So it's a public status user just as this username string username. Here we check username exists or not. In this case, I will use link queue to SQL to save codes. Here first we create a context and let's check và user is normal equal link queue to SQL is the from contact of user case from user in contact of user contact user from contact of user from user in contact of user and where user here Chinese name for clearance I just use where you dot username equal username select here we select all the user from this contact of username and select use user list of user. Here we check if user to list count is the equal 1. So here is the full link function better. We check as it or not. Count equal 1 is mean here this user will return true. It means that we have username L we return on. Yes, we check its username is and return true, return false, and from user username when add user check username play in post L. In this case username is empty and in this case it has username but it's a same in the database. So if user controller No, user controller, not user control. User controller. Very carefully, this name is a user controller. Check ASIC username. This is that for username. Equal true. It means that ASIC username. So we add this error. This username is available in database. Okay, text username. Let's format it to look better. Format document. Okay, check. Here I check as this username in database and let's run. A function user, and let I add my username again, and add user. I have error here. This username is available in database, as you can see. Error here, so let's add user. So it's username, so we must return here. Returning, sorry. Return after is add username. And reverse. Function user as username, as user. This username is available in database. Once. Just for example, and I change in username into 1, 2, 3 and add. Here username, let's check on the database. In this query, we will solve stop at username and execute. As you can see, it has new username here. Okay. Now is our next task is solve on username onto this. So let's do it. From it in the controller, user controller, we add one function is a as check as, and now it's another function is a publish status. We will get a list of user, so list of user. get on username user. We get on user from database. So here let's use link queue to SQL using where context new DB task management entity. Where user s equals from user in context user, and we select on use as we return user. Here thing we are using, so this here only scope, this prior just only between this, so we return user up to list. We have a list of user, and let's show it on the here as user. And we show again on the source. So let's show it source. We don't need data binding here, we just add this data user data source user controller. We have one user control and user controller. Be carefully this name, just user control the get on user. And let from beginning we also saw it, so let's we don't need this, we do it another way. So let's show it this data user data source for user controller get on user run. Function user, as you can see, error. Okay, we will check this error later. Let's close it. Function user. Okay. Error because the previous you add into the some event. I change here. I saw on user onto data grid view. So let's check. User and event. Let's see what event here. Self click data user and edit, and so here we don't need this. just comment for this post. We will come back it later, and save and edit. Okay. User self click. Let's build. And run. Function user is an error. Lazy loss. Object context instance having dispose and cannot be used for operate require connection. Since the data grid it has data sort with the list and connect directly into database, but here I know it's problem. In code user controller, we use contact here, and after this we stop connection. So it's make error sync in this application where I demo is in the way of the disconnection. After loss into database, I disconnection from database, so I change it into user. Maybe it's not worth from beginning. We also is so let's check the binding sock list of user. Here list of user, I add it into here. My equals this list of user, and I also use binding socks. Let's run again. Function user same. Let's check. Okay, let's come by our program sync in the model is user. It also includes a collection task box. So when the data grid loss is try to load this object, this collection. So, but the connection is closed, so make error. So here I change it into that's in a user controller, from which I use combine between link queue to SQL and link queue to subject here, and I select here is a link queue to SQL, and here link queue to subject. X is a lambda expressions, new user. In new user, I will username or username, full name, department, birthday, and email okay, and font. Okay, on the properties that we fill against the subject user and convert it to list. And now let's display. Here is combine link queue to SQL and link queue subject. And here we as user. Okay, so here we make a not user, we make a new object, select new, and let's stop. Here's new this in username, full name, department, font is the same subject, and in this I use you. And select again, make a new class and fill it into the new user. Function user of is working. Okay. Same. Okay, in this case it's continuous error, so we must convert into these functions as enumerable. Select new and select the subject to list. Okay, let's run. Function user, yeah, it's working without error like previous one, and turn off user, yes. And let's see if we come back into this previous, select use F5, sorry, error. No. F5 user there is same problem, so we must convert into a new subject like previous. Yes, English is way. Select new and add to new subject. From user, we don't need this binding source. We only get user control. We don't need it too. Add new user, okay. Function user. We will not use binding source and it's empty. It don't have the new rows. On the touch, just add from his, for example, hash is add user. Yeah, user add is here. But problem here we cannot add from the data grid view. We just add from interface. Add on this text box and add. So in the case if working with database, I recommend that you choose omit deny for user to add directly into the data grid view. It makes us difficult to configure. If you want, it's easy, just add the data source. Let here I again in user binding source, a new binding source and source data source. And I add it into source. Let's see what happened. Same here for as user. And run. Function user. Yeah, it's a one empty row here for we add database. As temp as user, yeah, is S1 and empty. So your task is combine previous work and edit directly on the data grid view to the database. Here the most delete user. Here delete user, and we select row from database from the data grid view. Is this cell click. Here he has one is the index, so I get again. This both deletes from this data user current index. Let's delete user. First, we need to get the username with sequence. So let's as one username string username equals this data user row. Select this rows. First select the row and cell 0 is username value to string trim. There is username. And now I delete this name by add one function for user controller and delete as more one function is the public status bool delete user. We need only string username and using context new task management DB contact entity context as user delete remove first we select user and username user yes check as get on user. So let's one more function check ASIC username, and I guess more function is a get ASIC username by user, and is a user return user dog single L return none. Yes, the get user with username, so we get user user equal user controller dot get ASIC username. If user is none, it means that now user will return on, else we remove user. So be carefully with the relationships many to many between user and task that we do on the next. Return true. Here we have the try catch. If any error, we return on. So let's come back into user and delete user. String username. If user controller delete user username, error message box and now delete user, else we saw again. Yes, let's run. Function user. I want to delete this. Yes, cannot delete. Why? Okay, fine. Let's debug. Right. So user select on this row from empty space, we select it and delete. F10 username is the temp 11 user. Okay. Remove what? Let's see what problem by remove try catch. As I know, save change. F5. Use the subject object cannot delete because it's not files. Let's see what error. Delete object. Remove. Attack and delete. Let's try in this way. Use contact. Okay, problem here we get from different functions, so let's get it into here. I select. Let's try. User here. Oh, in context user select user where username single default and we remove its user contact user let's run. Temp delete user F5. Yes, it deletes this user from and if a no selected rows we return file. And function user delete index were out of range. Select this row of maybe count is 0, so it's a count. This is F5. Function user delete, nothing happens, and delete in this. Yes, and delete. Okay, and let's check on the database. SQ. Yes, only one, and add more. Sorry. Delete. We must click on 0 to release add user. There as one user, and check on database. Yeah, I had 2 users. So we have the add, new, and delete. Now I will demonstrate for the update function. To update, we come back in this interface and update directly on table. So let's use the event is here, cell and click cell user cell click and user, and here user cell click. For delete, we don't need, we just delete from row, so I remove it and keep in this. So previous as I guide this use the add data picker and control and CPOs for combo box. And previous work you use data source. Here's the data source also change onto the list, but list will not automatically update on database as we run. A function user, and I have one is the department, for example is DES, so let I change it into IT. So we hope that it will change IT, but let's check on database. It is DS, let's run. DS2, it not automatically updates, so we must update by hand. So let's run, and user is the same ds. So here we must update onto test chain and test chain. So let's update by the event is the data cell and edit. Open it on the information. Here is a try catch at previous. We must change into if else. So let's I change it to if else, not try catch here. If so let's I copy from the previous work. Let's check on this. I modify a little bit. We check it and down this L. We remove L because we change content is into default value. And it is L. Okay, this for previous I ask you try catch into if L because if this cell it has value, so we can add value to. Okay, here is a cow, but we don't need cow as on. List as we don't need as, and okay, cell and edit, and we get 0. Here we get we not allow change the username. Username is unique, so we check if before is if anyone try to change username, we return. So if add does column index is equal 0, it means that the username, so we return cannot change the username. Thing is a primary key, so it's a sensitive field, or is equals cannot change username. Another field we can change cost. So let's add this from controller as one function is the update published status on update user is by user. Also we use context like this. First we get user from database và user from single div is a user add and its name user s and a user username equal user s dot username, and we change it user dot full name equal user s full name. Same for other user department. Email, on birthday, font. Let's see in the interface more full name, department, birthday, font, email. Okay, and we update it contact user update add or update user return true. If any error, we will return font. So in the case you add the try catch, but here for debug I didn't use try catch here. Let debug it run. Function user and we update is IT is down is user save and edit count. We don't add a count here. We must call it into user controller if user controller dot update user font, it means that error, so message box can now update. Function user, let's change its name and close it log again. You say yes, I update this user and let department IT taskforce empty. So this problem we resolve it later. IT is still DS. So what's problem? Think after this detection. No. No. We get a user for it. Username. Here we have controller. In this we have found is the get ASIC username by username. So let's use this function. Username equal user equal user controller get ASIC username and we add user dot department equal this to string and update. Let's run. DS IT. Let's change DS to IT and see user. Yeah, IT is update. So your task is update the birthday to in same as I do. So it's error here. You update the birthday here. DTP test chain. Here on the update function user controller, let's see update change what happens if we didn't use add or update? It also works since we get user from the contact, so it track change this property and also change pattern. User his ds I change it into ca and let's see ca. Yeah, it changed, so it don't need this function add to update since the user we get in this context same scope, so it will track change. We change it, and we just call the save change, and it will update automatically. We call this update in the case that user is outside this scope. Okay.